Today is election day, and we are in Maplewood, New Jersey, at Tuscan School, to be exact, which is a polling station. And we're going to go around to a lot of polling stations and interview voters and poll workers, and just try and get a closer look at what's going on here and see what's happening. So, let's go. You voted at Tuscan?
I did.
And how'd it go?
Not very smoothly, I would say. I showed up this morning and waited in lines that were kind of long, and got to the book, and only to find that my name wasn't in the book. I've lived in Maplewood for 14 years and voted in every election.
So after 14 years of voting, your name just disappeared?
For lack of a better explanation, yeah.
And they couldn't tell you anything?
Well, they could tell me that they would give me a provisional ballot to still do, but I couldn't vote the normal process that I've been used to voting for 14 years now.
Oh, you were the provisional ballots have a much higher chance of being not counted?
Yeah, that made me angry, actually. I was disappointed that I wasn't sure that after going through this whole process, which took over an hour to vote, that this vote was going to even count.
I am in charge of all of the poll workers. I try to answer questions and be a troubleshooter. So I just would like to say that this has been one of the most exciting, busy, chaotic, and rewarding elections that I've been part of. Because some of the reasons that people's names are not in the books are, number one, they were misdirected. They perhaps have moved and forgot to tell anybody, like the Board of Elections. Some of the other reasons might be that they registered too late. Because there have been an incredible number of registrations this year. They weren't all able to be processed. We assume most of them were, but we're not positive. So if their names are not in those books, then they vote on provisional ballots.
All right, so there's been reports that there's a lot of problems with the New Jersey polling stations because of the this influx of voter registration, that you're all short on polling machines. You're
Not so. Not so.
not so?
Not so. There are sufficient machines. The turnout has been much higher than expected. For every polling district in Essex County that has more than 1,000 people registered in that district, and there are usually only up to 750. But for any district that has 1,000 or over, there are 2 machines that are being used. There is none here, but there are some in other polling places in Maplewood. So they are well prepared, but the numbers of people who have come to vote is more than was ever expected, and more than I have ever experienced. One of the machines was not working. One of the machines was not working.
All right.
Do you have any idea why the machine broke?
I am not a techie. I can't tell you how my cell phone works.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, maybe someone spilled coffee in there or something.
In my phone? No, I don't think so. It wasn't working. There was an error
the
code
booth.
when they first tried to open it this morning. I don't know why.
What is it you're doing here today?
I'm actually a poll worker. There's 5 for each district, so there's about 25 of us in here, or 20, I guess. There's 4 districts in this room, and we volunteer. Well, we get paid, but not very much. So it's kind of a civic duty. That's how I think of it anyway. And we spend the whole day here from 5:15 until 8 p.m. and beyond, because then we have to close everything up, count emergency ballots, provisional ballots, that kind of stuff. And we just kind of help people vote.
Have you noticed an increase on provisional and emergency ballots today?
Yeah. We definitely had a problem in this district this morning. The machine didn't work at all from 6 a.m. till 10, so we had to use the emergency ballots, and everybody had to sit down with paper and pencil and put them in an envelope and stuff them in a bag. And some people enjoyed doing the paper ballot because it was the good old-fashioned way, and they felt like there was some kind of paper trail. A lot of people were perfectly fine voting on paper, and they didn't mind sitting at a table. didn't feel like they needed privacy. They just voted and got it over with. And actually, we got people through faster than the machines.
So you think? Sorry, can you say that again?
we got people faster through than with the machines, but that's because we could have 6 people voting at once because they didn't choose privacy. They didn't need to have some kind of barrier around them. They felt perfectly comfortable sitting at a communal table with other people. They felt okay with that. But it was their decision.
That was for the paper ballots, right?
Yes, just paper.
So the paper ballots, they did go faster.
Oh, so they're very comfortable.
No.
That's what they're voting for.
Well, but I think when somebody is very comfortable with their vote, then they don't mind doing it at a table like that.
This is the great Maplewood Municipal Building. And a lady over there who really does not want us filming here. Alright, and I take it you voted today.
I did.
How long were the lines?
For me, they were short. I was very fortunate. I was on the short line for my district, but the other 2 lines were very long.
Like, could you give me a number?
I'd say there were probably 20 people, 20 to 30 people on
So
the other
maybe
each line, on each line.
30 minutes? 15, 20?
You know, it depends. My husband was here this morning. He got here at 6, and it took him over an hour, almost an hour.
An hour?
An hour, 50 minutes, because when he got here when they opened, and he said it seemed to be a lot of first-time voters, so they weren't really sure what they were doing, and that's what was taking so long.
Wow. Okay.
You have an interesting thing pinned to your shirt. What is that?
It's it shows that I'm a poll challenger, which means that I work for a political party to make sure that the people who are at the polls are entitled to be there, that they're not voting in the wrong place, and basically at this point kind of just helping people go to the right place if they're in the wrong place.
So what do you have to say about the lines?
Just long lines.
Long lines, like 2-hour lines, 1-hour lines?
About an hour and a half.
Hour and a half lines?
About a dozen people, no more, but somewhere in that range left because the line was too long.
Really? So some people did leave?
Yeah, and the problem with that is if they had already signed in and they leave, they basically forfeited their votes. If we had 2 or maybe 2 more voting machines, it would have been a lot better.
Virginia, so today you voted.
Yes, I did.
At the
Maplewood Community Center?
Maplewood Community Center.
Maplewood Community Center.
What do you do here?
I'm a poll worker.
You're a poll worker? What exactly does that entail?
Poll worker entails checking the people in, having them sign the book, as well as giving them a slip to go into the voting booth. Essex County had a large influx of new voters this year, approximately 50,000 new voters. So the lines are going to be long because you have an additional 50,000 to however many that was already registered. Some people were going in the voting machine and putting a check mark by the candidate's name or circling the candidate's name, and that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to press it and an X will pop up.
They've been writing on the thing. Do you think like they were confused about the voting process?
I think a little because like I said, you're dealing with a lot of new voters, so they haven't been able to. They haven't never used the machine, and a lot of voters are not looking at the ballot that's been mailed to them.
This morning, my husband couldn't get in to vote because the line came all the way out here, went down the sidewalk, and
Couldn't get in to vote?
he couldn't get in to vote this morning. Some of the people that were ahead of us, older people, I'm not sure they were comfortable with it. They were maybe used to the old method.
Well, I was planning to get here and be the first one here. I live 2 blocks away here in Maplewood, and we was making some phone calls to Pennsylvania, Nevada last night, and I had promised someone I'll be the first one here to vote because I'm 2 blocks away. Well, Got up at 5, left the house 5:45, got here in 5 minutes. 5:50, I'm at the door. 7 people on the outside of this door. I'm thinking I'm the 8th person. I'm thinking I beat her. Open up the doors. I was instructed to continue on upstairs, 2 floors up. Line of line people. And this whole place don't usually be crowded at all. In the hallways or nothing like that. So I had to go on the 2nd floor to get to the back of the line. And once they opened up at 6 o'clock, I had to then work my way down the stairs as the whole line was. And as that back of the line got down to the 2nd floor, I might add, against the wall began to come in after us, and then that's how we started to go in. Some folks waited 45 minutes, some folks waited an hour. There were some districts like 22, 4, 10, especially 10, that had a lot of people here for that district. There were some tables that was empty. We had to physically go all the way down to that corner and say, "Oh, you district such and such, such and such, we got somebody for you." So it was very ironic today.
What would you say is the longest wait anybody had?
One person, they had an hour and something.
Hour and something?
Yeah.
Would you say anybody got frustrated with the wait and left?
One young lady who, cause I was helping the gentleman go in, she came here 3 times because she was on her way to work. And I guess she tried to gauge it. She probably worked in the area, but she left and came back. She said 3 times I tried, and at last, have to go back to work. So 3 times.
So would you say that more voting machines would have helped?
I think so. And you know what? You could even try with heavily populated districts, depending on the study. 16 was good. 22, 4 and 10, maybe you can have doubles.
So,
the gym was maybe 102. I don't know. I wish I had something to measure it. Who wanna know at this point? But still warm. They're getting that hot gym, still standing. That could have been frustrating for anyone because then again we're not used to it at this location. No one never had to wait in the hallway. No one never had to wait outside. We don't know what that is. So when folks seen at the crosswalk and folks seen at the corner and the pole, they was like, "Well, what's going on? We don't have this here." Couples that lived in the area, we've been here 40 years. I've been here 34 years, and they had never seen it. No one got out of this line and said, "I'm not going to vote at all." That's it. No one.
I was a bit closer, like here.
Yeah, go back a bit
Alright.
because it's pretty tight. All right.
Right.
Okay. Today is election day in 2008, and we are at Tustin School. This is Tustin School in Maplewood, New Jersey, and we are going to go to polling places, interview voters and poll workers, and just to take a closer look at what's going on here and see what's happening. So let's go. Don't do that, all right? Don't
Rolling.
All right, hi. I'm at Tustin School, and this is the Mark Fitzmartin production of How to Annoy Your Son. He's over there. I'm gonna go interview him, and he's gonna, just frustrate the hell out of me, bug me, and just try and make this process a little more complicated. So,
This is to learn how to talk with your hands like this. Very animated.
This is what we call a Pepsi Coke. And, all right, okay,
That's a flooded.
Yeah.
You're looking down at the sidewalk.
The sun is like
Doesn't matter. I don't look like you're looking at the sidewalk.
That's because I am looking at the sidewalk. He's looking right
Alright,
at the damn sun.
Ready? Rolling.
Today is election day in Maplewood, New Jersey, and